Have you ever typed a message, deleted it, typed it again, and then decided not to send it? Not because you didn't know what you wanted to say, but because you were calculating how much care was safe to show. Should I reply now? Should I wait? Will I look too interested? Have they lost interest? Am I expressing myself? Or am I giving somebody too much power over me? There was probably a time when caring felt simple, before disappointment taught us to measure it, before rejection taught us to disguise it, before dating became a place where two people could genuinely like each other and still be afraid to act like it. Welcome to AFJ Real Talk, a space for honest conversations about love, heartbreak, friendship, healing, and navigating modern relationships without the games and pretending. Life and connection shape us in ways we don't always talk about openly. This podcast is here for those real conversations, thoughtful reflections, straightforward advice, and empathy grounded in honesty and real life. I am AFJ, and wherever you are listening from, I'm glad you are here. This is Chapter 1. Why dating feels so complicated now. Let's get into it. Have you ever liked someone, cared about someone, and still found yourself unsure where you stood? Maybe the conversation felt good. Maybe the chemistry was there. Maybe they contacted you every day. Maybe they shared private things with you. Maybe they spoke about places you could go together and things you might do in the future. Maybe they said all the right words, and yet something still felt uncertain. You could feel the connection, but you could not name it. You could feel yourself becoming attached, but you did not know whether they were becoming attached too. And sometimes you're afraid to ask, because asking for clarity can feel dangerous when you already care about the answer. I think that is a feeling many people quietly carry today. Not because they are asking for too much, but because clarity sometimes feels harder to find than connection itself. Dating today can feel complicated, and not only complicated, exhausting. Not necessarily because people have stopped wanting love, but because somewhere along the way, love started competing with fear. We live in a time when connection is everywhere. We can message instantly, video call across cities and countries, meet people through applications, social circles, and social media. We can now know what somebody ate, where they traveled, and what they wore before we know what they fear, what they value, or whether their words can be trusted. We have access to more people than previous generations could have imagined. And yet, loneliness still finds its way into many lives. You can receive messages all day and still feel emotionally alone. You can have hundreds of followers and still wonder whether one person truly understands you. You can be talking to someone every night and still have no idea what you mean to them. And I don't think that is always because people do not care. I think many people care deeply, but caring and feeling safe enough to be honest about caring are sometimes two different things. Many of us are not dating with completely untouched hearts. Some people are dating after disappointments, after the betrayal, after being misunderstood, after loving somebody who enjoyed their intention but never intended to choose them, after investing emotionally and watching everything fall apart, after being told they were too much, or discovering they were only convenient. Those experiences leave marks, not always visible ones, but emotional ones. And those marks can follow somebody into a new connection. A new person may be standing in front of them, but part of their mind is still negotiating with what happened before. So what happens? People protect themselves, which is understandable. But sometimes protection becomes performance. Dating becomes strategy. Who texts first? Who waits longer? Who double texted? Who seems less interested? Who watched the story but ignored the message? Who is given more? Who has the upper hand? Emotional honesty starts feeling risky, while emotional distance starts looking attractive. People begin confusing emotional unavailability with confidence. They confuse inconsistency with mystery. They confuse anxiety with chemistry. And they call confusion a spark. You have probably heard the advice: play it cool. Don't look too available. Never let them know how much you like them. Protect your heart. Protecting your heart matters, but hiding it is different. There is a difference between having healthy boundaries and pretending not to care. A boundary says, I care, but I will not accept disrespect. A performance says, I care, but I will make sure you never know. And after a while, two people who genuinely like each other can become trapped inside a competition over who appears to care less. That is not emotional maturity. That is fear wearing fashionable clothes. Sometimes I wonder whether dating is genuinely more complicated now, or whether we are simply more aware of everything that could go wrong. In the past, many people met within smaller circles, through family, through church, through work, through school, through neighborhoods and mutual friends. There were fewer people to compare someone with, fewer profiles waiting behind the screen, and fewer strangers offering daily opinions about what a relationship should look like. That does not mean relationships in the past were perfect. They were not. Some people remained in unhealthy relationships because society gave them no safe way to live. Some endured silence, betrayal, abuse, or unhappiness because appearances mattered more than emotional well-being. Some stayed because they lacked financial independence. Others remained because separation carried shame. So we should not romanticize the past. But there was one major difference. People were not constantly reminded that another option might be one swipe away. Today, you can be having a meaningful conversation with someone while wondering whether they are having the same conversation with 5 other people. You can begin to like somebody and still feel as though you are competing against people you have never met. Not because your connection is weak, but because modern dating can make everybody feel replaceable. Our conversation slows down for one day, and your mind begins asking questions. Have they lost interest? Did I say too much? Did I reply too quickly? Are they speaking to somebody else? Should I pull back before they pull away? And suddenly, instead of experiencing the connection, you are managing your fear of losing it. That is exhausting. Social media has also placed an invisible audience inside our relationships. We are no longer only asking, are we happy? We are also asking, do we look happy? Are we progressing quickly enough? Why did their partner do that for them, but mine did not? Why are they getting engaged after 6 months, while I am still trying to understand where I stand? We compare our private confusion with somebody else's public celebration. But we rarely see the arguments behind the photographs. We do not see the depth behind the holidays. We do not see the loneliness behind the couple's videos. We do not see the counseling, sacrifice, compromise, disappointment and forgiveness required to maintain what looks effortless online. And when our real relationship does not resemble somebody else's edited relationship, we begin to believe something is wrong with us. Sometimes nothing is wrong. Sometimes real love simply does not look cinematic every day. Sometimes love is two tired people choosing not to punish each other for being tired. Sometimes it is checking whether the other person arrived home safely. Sometimes it is remembering the small thing they told you weeks ago. Sometimes it is apologizing without being forced. Sometimes it is having the same difficult conversation again, but handling it with more kindness than the last time. Those moments may never go viral, but they are often where love actually lives. We are also dating while carrying more than we admit. People are working long hours. Some are supporting family members. Some are raising children. Some are dealing with financial pressure. Some are living far away from home. Some are trying to heal from relationships that never gave them proper closure. Some are grieving parents, friendships, marriages, miscarriages, lost years, or versions of themselves they thought they would have become by now. Then they meet someone new and are expected to appear light, exciting, confident, and emotionally available. But behind that smile, Maybe someone barely holding their life together. This is why someone can genuinely like you and still struggle to show up consistently. It does not automatically make their inconsistency acceptable, but understanding the reason may help us respond with wisdom instead of immediately turning them into a villain. There is a difference between someone who is temporarily overwhelmed and someone who repeatedly benefits from keeping you uncertain. Compassion should not require you to abandon discernment. You can understand somebody's pain without volunteering to become its permanent casualty. Some of the most painful relationships today are not even officially relationships. They are the conversations that lasted for months, the daily messages, the late night calls, the private jokes, the emotional intimacy, the sharing of fears and childhood memories, the future plans spoken carefully enough to create hope, but vaguely enough to avoid responsibility. Nothing was officially promised, yet something real was still experienced. Then one person disappears, withdraws, or says, "But we were never actually together." And technically, that may be true. But emotionally, it does not erase what happened. You can grieve something that never received a title. You can miss someone who was never officially yours. You can feel betrayed by a promise that was implied rather than spoken. You can lose sleep over an ending that the other person refuses to acknowledge as an ending. That is one reason modern dating can feel so confusing. We have developed many ways to create intimacy without accountability. We call it seeing where it goes. We call it going with the flow. We call it not putting pressure on things. Sometimes that is healthy. Sometimes two people genuinely need time. But sometimes it is simply one person receiving relationship level access while refusing relationship level responsibility. And the longer that uncertainty continues, the more the other person begins questioning their own worth. A lot of people are tired. Not tired of love, but tired of confusion. Ghosting is not merely disappearing. It is leaving somebody alone with unanswered emotion. It is forcing them to reply or replay conversations, search for mistakes, and create explanations because you did not have the courage to provide one. Closure does not always require a perfect explanation. Sometimes it simply requires honesty. I don't think we are aligned. I am not able to continue this. My feelings have changed. I don't feel the connection. I should have communicated this sooner. Truth may disappoint people, but confusion drains them. Honesty can always prevent pain, but it can prevent unnecessary humiliation. It can allow another person to live with their dignity rather than remain trapped inside endless questions. Underneath many dating arguments are much simpler questions. Am I safe with you? Do your words mean anything? Will you tell me when your feelings change? Can I be honest without being punished? Am I important to you or merely convenient? Are we building something, or am I helping you feel less lonely until somebody else arrives? Most people are not demanding perfection. They are asking for clarity. They are asking for consistency. They are asking not to feel foolish for caring. And perhaps that is what makes dating feel so complicated now. It is not that people no longer want love. Many people want it deeply, but they are approaching it with tired minds, guarded hearts, endless comparisons, and memories of what happened the last time they trusted somebody. So they arrive hoping to be chosen, but already prepared to be abandoned. They ask for honesty, but hide the parts of themselves they believe might be rejected. They desire closeness, but before frightened when somebody gets close enough to hurt them. Maybe the real challenge is not finding somebody who has never been wounded. That person may not exist. Maybe the challenge is finding somebody willing to take responsibility for how their wounds affect the way they love, and being willing to do the same ourselves. Dating does not have to be built on confusion. We may not be able to remove every fear, every misunderstanding, or every disappointment, but we can choose to communicate clearly. We can stop treating sincerity like weakness. We can stop rewarding people who only value us when we begin to withdraw. We can ask direct questions. We can give direct answers. We can admit when we care. And we can leave situations that repeatedly require us to sacrifice our peace just to maintain somebody else's attention. Maybe dating feels complicated because people are still listening or learning how to be vulnerable without feeling weak. Despite everything, I still believe people want real connection. I still believe kindness exists. I still believe emotional, healthy love exists. Connection built on confusion creates exhaustion, but connection built on honesty creates peace. And maybe that is what people are really searching for. Not endless excitement, not a perfect person, not somebody who never makes a mistake, but somebody with whom they do not have to constantly question whether they matter. Before we end, I want you to sit with one question. When was the last time you felt completely understood by someone? Not merely heard, not tolerated, not desired for a moment. Understood. What made you feel safe with that person? Was it their consistency? Their patience? Their honesty? The way they listened without immediately trying to defend themselves? Or the way you never had to shrink your feelings to keep them comfortable? And then ask yourself another question. Do the people I care about feel that same safety with me? Because love is not only about finding somebody who understands us. It is also about becoming somebody capable of understanding another person. Perhaps dating will always carry uncertainty. Two people will always bring different histories, fears, expectations, and ways of communicating into the same space. But complication does not have to become confusion, and fear does not have to become cruelty. We can be honest when our feelings change. We can stop using silence as power. We can stop treating people as replaceable. We can protect our hearts without becoming emotionally unavailable. And we can remember that behind every profile, message, and unanswered question, there is a human being trying to feel chosen without losing themselves. Thank you for spending this time with me on AFJ Real Talk. If this conversation spoke to you, share it with somebody who may need to hear it. And tell me, why do you think dating feels so complicated now? If you have a question, experience, or personal story you would like us to explore, send it in. Your story may become part of a future conversation with your privacy and dignity respected. Follow AFJ Real Talk for more honest conversations about love, friendship, healing, and navigating modern relationships. Until next time, stay honest, stay open, and take care.